found a new connect, so we all back in business together. Now, whatever beef y'all still got, squash that.
To be able to control this Tariq St. Patrick. Well, maybe I can help.
Did you know Jabari Reynolds?
Can I get a phone call?
I need you. You owe me.
We need to talk.
Talk? I'm gonna need a little quid from you before I can quote.
Ain't nobody safe. Especially you.
What's going on, fam? It's your man, VACAY-J, and yes, today we are going to recap episode 3 of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2 on Stars. And again, I'm super excited. If you're brand new and absolutely you love Ghost, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, absolutely like, comment below. And again, if you missed any episode, check out my recaps for episode 1 and 2. And now we're about to break down and recap episode 3. Now check this out. The title of this is The Greater Good. And the description reads, Tariq tries to keep course correct from going under, while Diana's wary of Kane's motives and Zeke's future is put at risk. Everyone is wondering, where is Monet? All right, so now we see Tariq. He's on the block, and we're wondering where he is because it looks like there's some like lights around him, like police lights. Well, it looks like the police are at the Intercontinental Barclay. So he rolls up in the spot, and it doesn't look like he's supposed to be there, but there's a whole lot of police officers there. But of course, we see Rashad Tate, and he's there celebrating his brother Kamal getting a promotion to investigative detective, right? So Tariq rolls over because it looks like he's going to talk to Rashad Tate. And while walking over, he gets stopped by the police chief, and he's like, hey, buddy, I think this is the wrong party for you to come up in. And he's like, nah, I'm here to see, my uncle, Rashad Tate. And he's like, oh, that's your uncle? You're his nephew? And then, Rashad Tate comes over. He's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know this young man. So he's like, what are you doing here? And Tariq's like, listen, we need to talk, man. I need your influence because I'm trying to get, my sister back. And he's like, listen, one hand got to wash the other. Basically, I need something on, Congressman Sweeney, and I need you to find out some dirt so I can get that seat. I want his seat. So Tariq is like, okay, I got to figure that out, but can you help me see, my sister? And of course, he's like, yeah, I can help you see your sister. Just make sure you get some dirt, and you definitely need to find out who's a Weston at, Stansfield. So he sends him off. He's like, all right, nephew, see you later, right? Definitely a politician. So you got Monet, and she's sitting there looking at whose card? She's looking at Mecca's card, right? AKA Dante, looking at his card because she's thinking about giving him a call. So she's at the meetup spot, and she's meeting up with your boy Kane. And Kane is like, listen, where's Tariq? Is he late? He's late again? Man, this guy's late, man. What's going on? Right? So she's like, yeah, no worries. So Tariq comes up, and she's like, listen, Kane got to connect. So we all in business now. So whatever beef y'all got, put it to the side. We're going to make this happen, all right? You understand? And, basically Tariq is like, okay, I understand. Do you trust him? She's like, yeah, we got to trust him, right? So Monet skates off, and Kane is like, listen, did you scare, that professor? And Tariq is like, listen, I didn't even have to do all that, man. Just trust me, man. We don't have to worry about it. And the funniest thing that Tariq says is like, man, as much as I do for this family, they didn't even offer me a ride. Basically, he's walking around while everybody's driving. Crazy. So your boy Kane rolls up, and he goes to Mecca's spot. There's a party going on that Mecca invited him to come to. So, Mecca's definitely happy to see him there, and he wants to introduce him to the rest of his squad. So it's a birthday party, and one of the guys, his name is Nuff, he's walking around and looking for a pig. There's a pig hanging, and he guts the pig, and then there's some, there's some product in there so they can party. So Mecca's like, listen, Kane, come on over. I want to introduce you to the birthday boy. His name is Nuff. We work together and all this and that. And he's like, Kane, this is Nuff. Kane is definitely going to help us expand. So, she's telling the chef, Nuff is telling the chef, hey, good food. And he's talking with food in his mouth. And the chef is like, listen, stop talking with food in your mouth. Right. So he's like, how do you know Mecca? Right. How do you know Mecca? He's like, oh, he used to run with one of my guys' fathers back in the day. He's like, oh, so you ran with him before he went to Kuwait. So we know that Mecca went to Kuwait. So, Basically, the cook is mad because he's still talking with food in his mouth, and he calls the girls over to get Kane and to get Nuff, right? So, you know, they about to go and have a good time with him, give him something to drink. You know, Kane is definitely having a good time, and Nuff is having a good time. He's like, yo, Mecca, you going to get some of this? And Nuff is like, nah, you know, it looks like Mecca, he's been strung out on this girl, you know, strung out on this girl. So Mecca comes over and grabs his neck, and he says, how many times do I got to tell you that my business is different from family business? And he's choking Nuff out. Nuff is like, can't breathe. Kane is looking at him like, yo, this dude is crazy. And he basically is choking this dude out, like just right there in front of everybody. Don't even care. He's like, yo, just keep my name out your mouth when it comes down to like my personal business. You know what I'm saying? So he chokes him out, and the dude basically just passed out. Look at Kane. Kane is like in fear and surprise, and your boy Nuff is basically knocked out. And Mecca's like, listen, hey, everybody enjoy themselves. It's a party. You know what I'm saying? He'll come back. He'll come back online in a few minutes. He'll be all right. So Mecca is not playing, man, but we know he went to Kuwait, so he definitely has, you know, skills. So now we look at a picture of Professor Milgram, and somebody's putting up a picture of Zeke. Guess who it is? Detective Kevin Whitman. Now, again, he's doing an investigation on Jabari Reynolds, but this is becoming real personal now. I think it's becoming personal, but he does have a picture of Detective Ramirez as well. So he's trying to link everything together. Now, remember from last episode, he brought in Zeke for questioning. So Zeke has been sitting there probably for a couple of hours. And he's like, listen, I already told you I don't know anything. You know, and he's like, listen, do you know Professor Jabari Reynolds? And he's like, nah, he's not my advisor. So he's like, who's your advisor? And then Zeke messes up and says, oh, Professor Caridad Milgram, right? So, of course, he knows that something's going on. So he's questioning him like, yo, what's your personal relationship with Carrie Milgram? He's like, yo, there's no personal relationship. She's just my, you know, instructor, and that's it. And Whitman is just like, I don't believe you, you know, and you've been in here for hours. There's reporters outside. You're supposed to be going to NBA. That would be a bad look for you, right? So now we see it's the morning time, and your boy Kane wakes up from the party. He obviously had a good time. He's coming downstairs to look and find Mecca, and Mecca's in the gym, and they're talking about everything. He's like, yeah, you know, you play hard, you got to work hard. So, you know, he's telling Mecca like, yo, you know, my mom got this guy, this geek from school, and she doesn't know what he's really doing. So Mecca's like, listen, you need to control Tariq. Maybe I could help. What's his name? And he finally tells him his name, like Tariq. He finally tells him his name. And so, you know, at first he didn't trust Mecca, but now he's like trusting Mecca. And Mecca's like, listen, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you control this kid. Now Tariq is at the office with the lady, and he's talking about, you know, getting his sister back. And she's telling him, listen, man, you got to have a job, and you got to have a place to stay and everything else like that. But she's letting him know. He's like, yeah, I could do all that. But she's letting him know, listen, money and all of that cannot really help, you know, make sure that a kid is good. You know what I'm saying? It's not always about money and influence. So now we're back at the station. We got your boy Zeke, and he is tired. He's like, listen, I got to go to practice. I can't miss practice. And, you know, Whitman is just really pressing this dude, man, because it's really a personal thing. We're starting to see his questioning is not really about Jabari Reynolds' death. It's really about him, Zeke, confessing that he has been with Carrie. And he's telling him, like, yo, Carrie gets around. Carrie gets around. So now we shoot over to Carrie, Professor Carrie, and she's in the classroom with your boy Rashad Tate. Of course, he's trying to take over, and he's talking about campaigning and serving the people and everything. But they're trying to talk about, you know, what is the meaning of the greater good. And they're going into this discussion, and it's a good discussion. You know, they're really breaking everything down. Of course, your girl is like, listen, you know, slavery wasn't a good thing, but according to your people, it was for the greater good. And of course, Lauren chimes in, and she says, nah, you know, I agree with you that, you know, it's really not, that was not a good move, right? So they're trying to get Lauren to see the point of somebody else, and your boy Tariq comes, and he says something that kind of rescues Lauren from her statement, right? Of course, she's smiling at that. Back at the station, boy, I tell you, we at this police station, and Zeke is really getting pressed. It is already the morning. School time is going on. He already missed practice. And this guy Whitman is just going in trying to get Zeke to confess that he's been with Carrie. And Zeke, I'm proud of him. He's not breaking, but he keeps getting a phone call, and guess who it is? It's Carrie. I know you can't see it, but it's Carrie calling him over and over and over. And it's like, why is she calling him? All that's doing is just enraging Whitman. So now we got Tate and Reek, and he's like, listen, can you get me to see my sister? He's like, yeah, well, I need you to still get some dirt on this guy. And you know a Weston, right? Braden, and I need you to get some dirt. Like this guy, Sweeney, he's a freak. He's an undercover freak. And I need to get all the dirt on him so when I run, I can use that and win the seat. Can you do that? He's like, yeah, I'm going to do what I can. So, of course, Rashad is smiling with his political smile, right? We go outside and you see your girl, Lauren. She's talking to him, trying to, apologize, for walking off or whatever. He's like, okay. And, of course, he gets a call and she's like, all right, I got to go, right? He calls Bash, and Bash is, the husband to Simon. And basically, he's like, listen, I need to get a paycheck. I need to basically have a paycheck. He's like, all right, we can arrange that, but you got to come up with $30,000 for us to do a LLC. And, there's fees involved and everything else like that. He's like, dang, $30,000? All right. So now they're on the block. They're trying to get the supply from Kane, right, Tariq and Braden. But, Kane is giving him a hard time because now he's like the man. He's like the plug to the plug, right? So he's giving him a hard time, talking down to Braden and everything else like that. And basically, Kane is just like, he really doesn't want Tariq in the picture. Like, he really doesn't respect him. And he wants him out. But, Tariq is like, yo, we're going to stand our ground. We're going to do our thing. And Kane is like, yo, I can't wait for y'all to mess this up. You mess up Monet's business, we're going to take it to the streets. He's like, whatever. So Braden's like, thanks for the supply. Thanks for all of that. Right. At the same time, they are being watched by Mecca. Right. We saw that in our prediction. Now, look, Reek is like, listen, I need $30,000. Braden's like, listen, I got something. I did some upgrades. So now Reek is holding the phone. There's a QR code on the phone. He's like, yo, scan the wall right there. I want you to scan the wall. There's a scanner in the wall. So Reek scans the wall, and basically a door opens up, right? A door opens up, and Reek is like, yo, what is this, right? What is this? And basically, Braden said, yeah, intern hooked it up where she took out some bricks and used a 3D scanner and created basically like an Amazon locker for drugs, right? Basically, it's like an Amazon locker. You go to the locker, you scan, you get your package. Well, basically, they set that up where people can now put their money in. They could drop the drugs in, and then the people come back to get an alert that the drugs are there, and then they can come back and get their product, right? Pretty genius, right? Pretty genius. But it's basically, Tariq and Brady's Amazon locker for selling their product, right? And it's definitely a great idea. And a statement that Tariq made, he was like, yo, basically, nobody's going to see us. We're going to be like ghosts, right? We're going to be like ghosts. So, of course, Tariq is definitely impressed by it. He's down for it. It's definitely a good move. And, Braden is definitely breaking down exactly how it works. And you see the people going into the lockers. And it's really convenient. Each person has their own locker. So it's a pretty great idea for them to move product and not be seen and totally be undercover. Real good job, Braden. Now, we see on the block, we see your boy Kane and Mecca. And Mecca rolls up and he's talking to Kane. He's like, yo, I saw what happened at the meeting. If you really want to weaken Tariq, you're going to have to get Braden to be on your side. Because Braden, he's like, Braden's a rich kid. And Mecca's like, yo, Braden is that rich kid. Like, you need to get him on your side. So now Kane has to come up with an idea to get him on his side. You see Monet, and she's looking up Dante Spears. He's the owner of Spears International Trading. So, your girl Monet is doing some research on her little boyfriend from the past, right? She's looking into him. Diana comes in there and she's like, hey, does Poppy know that Kane is back in the picture? She's like, I don't know. Why don't you go up there and deal with him and deal with your... She's really not feeling, Lorenzo right now. Now we got your boy, oh my God, Rashad Tate. He is trying real hard to get with your girl, Professor Milgram. So he's trying. He's like, listen, I hope you don't have anything against me. How about we just go be alone? If we go alone and have a drink or whatever, you'll get to know me and you'll get to learn to like me, right? So while that's going on, here he comes. Kevin Whitman, boy, this dude is everywhere, right? Everywhere, interrupting. So he's like, listen, I need to talk to the professor. And she's like, what are you doing here? And he tells her, he's like, listen, Zeke said that he wasn't with you the night that Jabari was killed. So your story is not going to stick at all. I'm going to take you down and I'm going to pin you and your little boyfriend as to the murder of Jabari, right? So while this is going on, your boy Rashad Tate, of course, he's ear hustling. He's listening to what's really going on. Now, again, he's probably going to use this in order to get to, Professor Milgram, get in her pants or whatever, so he can keep the secret. So your boy, Kevin Whitman, he is a maniac, and this is real personal right now. It's real personal, and he's trying to basically take her out and Zeke as well. Now we got Diana. She went up to the jail. She went up to visit Lorenzo, her poppy, right? Her dad. So, of course, she loves her dad. She misses her dad, and she wants nothing but the best for him. She wants him out of there. She really wants him out. So he's like, where's Monet? We got to talk business. And she's like, yeah, basically, she gave me more work. So I'm up here, handling the work. So she asked him, like, did you know that Mod brought Kane back? And he's like, yeah, that was my idea. It was my idea to get him to come back on. He's like, listen, he's made mistakes before, but business is business. Business is business. And we as a family, we have to stick together. So Lorenzo's trying to keep the family together and all of that. And he's basically trying to get her to understand that. She's real upset because she doesn't want anything to happen. She's really worried about the family and worried about her mom and the dad. So she thinks Kane is really going to mess up, but he's like, listen, I understand, right? So now we see your boy Dante Spears, a.k.a. Mecca, and he is basically opened up the whole restaurant for himself. He closed it out just so him and Monet can have a special dinner by the Brooklyn Bridge, right? It's probably the River Cafe or some type of fancy restaurant, right? So they're sitting down and, he basically is just like, I'm sorry. It's been a long time. And she's like, yeah, it's been 24 years and now you come back. What's going on with that? He's like, yeah, I tried to find you, under Nene. And she's like, don't call me that. You can't find me. That person is gone. And she's about to leave. And he's like, listen, Monet, like, I just want to start all over. I want us to get to know each other now. I had to do a lot of things in order to be the man that you knew I could be. And now I'm back for us to do some things together, So he's telling her, listen, I want to have a good time. I want to show you a good time. And I just want to make it up to you. Basically, I want to make it up to you. So she's feeling that. So they continue on. Now that random that we thought was a random actually is a friend of Lauren and the other girl. And she's like, listen, I got footage on Zeke being picked up by the cops and I'm going to get paid for it. And they're like, yo, don't do that. Lauren's like, don't do that. You don't know if he's okay or not. That's messed up. Like, don't try to get paid off of that. And of course, Shenda, she's just like, nah, he's going to be all right. He didn't do anything, and she's just like, I'm so worried about him, da-da-da-da. And, this other girl, she's like, yo, I really don't care. Like, she's just doing stuff for clout. But really, your girl, Shenda, she's just like, yo, you really need to get over Tariq. You really on Tariq's tip. She's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So she pulls out, some things. She's like, yeah, listen, you need to get off of him so we can go and do whatever we need to do. So she pulls out, a little joint or whatever. She's like, oh, no, you doing marijuana. I can't do that because they test me. So she's like, listen, whenever you want to get off Tariq, I got something for you. I'm going to put it in your drawer. So now Diana is talking to Tariq and they're on the roof, and basically Diana's like, listen, I need you to give me a contact with your lawyer, that helped out your mom. Like, you owe me. Basically, you owe me because I took care of that whole sugar product thing for you with Monet. She's like, all right. So Diana leaves. Tariq gets a call from Rashad Tate and he's like, yo, listen, I need an address so I can go see my sister. So while Diana's walking downstairs, Lauren's walking upstairs and Lauren's like, oh, hello. And Diana's like, what's up? Right? It's like, oh, funny meeting you here because that's supposed to be Lauren's spot. So, he's still pressing him about getting information on Sweeney. And Reek is like, listen, I'm still working on it. I'll take care of it. Right? So Lauren's going upstairs. Diana's going downstairs. And of course, Diana's like, yo, what is she about to do going upstairs? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? She's trying to figure it out. So, of course, Lauren's like, yo, I take you to the spot and now you got this girl up here. Like, she has no idea they're doing the drugs up there. They're selling the drugs up there and all this and that. And Rika's like, yo, there's a lot going on. I'm sorry, this, that, and that. She's like, yo, what's going on between me and you? and he's just like, yo, a lot going on with everything. I'm sorry. And then, of course, Tate sends him the address where he can go see his sister. And he's like, you owe me. So Lauren's like, see, always being interrupted. I'm out of here. Tariq stops her and is like, listen, I'm sorry. You know, let me make it up to you. Let me show you what's going on. It's just a lot going on that I promise I'll explain everything. Now, we thought he was going to talk about the drugs, but it wasn't that at all. So now your boy Mecca is definitely swooning your girl Monet, got her in a helicopter overlooking Manhattan, like he's doing his thing. She's like, listen, I never did this before. And he's like, listen, baby, like we could do great things together. Like I'm back. Like let's just do this, right? Meanwhile, your boy Zeke is trying to call Auntie Monet, but it's going straight to voicemail because she's up in the air. Of course, you know, your boy Mecca's about to lay it on your girl Monet, and they start the kissing and rubbing and the hugging and all of that in the air in the helicopter, right? So it's about to go down. Meanwhile, your boy Reek got a teddy bear, and she's like, yo, what's this all about? We see Yasmin. Yay, we see Yasmin. What's going on, Yaz? And he's going to see his sister. We're happy about that. Definitely we need to get some shirts, free Yasmin, right? So Tariq is like, hey, Yaz. And of course, she's happy to see her brother. And, you know, he's happy to see her. They embrace and everything. And, you know, this is great. You know, definitely Rashad Tate is using his influence. I mean, for the wrong reasons, but he's definitely doing a good cause helping out Tariq. Of course, Lauren is now understanding that all his interruptions and all of this and that was for him to see his little sister, you know, who's in foster care. So they meet. She's like, oh, she's pretty. Is that your girlfriend? You know, Rika's like, listen, I'm the one that's supposed to be asking you questions. And of course, Lauren's like, yeah, you're pretty too. So they're kind of hitting it off, but she's understanding and getting a better understanding of what Tariq is doing and why he's so, you know, secretive. But it's not about the opening of her finding out about the drugs. So they're playing a game. They're having a good time. You know, Lauren's getting to know Yasmin and seeing Reek in a different light now as a big brother, right? Definitely taking care of his little sister. So he's telling her, hey, listen, you know, soon, you know, I'm going to get you out of here and, you know, we're going to have a place to stay. You can stay with me. You don't have to go back to Big Mama. I know you don't want to go back to Big Mama. She's like, yay. And Lauren can visit too, right? And she's like, yeah, you know, if possible. You know, so, you know, Reek is definitely reassuring her that things are going to be all right. Right. Lauren gets up. She goes to the bathroom. Right. And Reek is looking just to make sure she goes. The lady actually, she's like, yeah, well, where's the bathroom exactly? So she gets the lady to walk with her to the bathroom. So now here's Tariq's opportunity to give her a little burner with his number in it and says, hey, hide this. Don't let anybody know, but you can call me or text me anytime. Right. So the lady comes back. It's like, it's time to go. It's time to go. And it's like, man, we just got here. She's like, listen, I pulled strings to make this happen. So they finally see each other. It was a good thing. Back at the dorm now, your boy Tariq and Lauren, she's like, listen, I understand now. You was doing all this for your little sister. And they get to start to kissing, right? Start kissing, start getting it in. You know, finally, you know, Reek is putting down his phone so he can clap them cheeks. And that's exactly what's about to go down. She's open for it. You know, they've had plenty of opportunities, but they haven't gotten to this point. You know, so now Lauren is really about to lay it on your boy Reek. And they're getting the kissing and everything else like that. And he's like, yo, are you sure? You know, at least he was a gentleman about it and says, are you sure? And she's like, yes, I'm sure. So you already know she looking down and your boy Reek is about to definitely do his thing and clap them cheeks. And yes, they get it on. Finally, after all this time, they get it on. Now your boy Mecca and Monet, they just got off the helicopter. Monet gets the message and she's listening to her message. And she's like, yo, I gotta go. I gotta go. And it's the message from Zeke. He's at the precinct, the 21st precinct. So it's like, listen, I gotta go. He's like, yo, can I help you out? She's like, nah, I got to do this on my own, right? So she's rushing and she runs over to the police station. Meanwhile, your boy Reek is smiling with Lauren. He gets a message, right? And he thinks it's, you know, his sister, but it's actually the video was posted. Somebody posted that video of Zeke getting pulled in with Detective Whitman. He's like, oh, man, this is messed up. You know, he just got in the precinct, da-da-da-da. And she's like, what's going on? And he basically explains to Lauren, like, listen, you know, if Zeke gets out of school, then I can't stay in school. You know, I'm basically here to help him get through school. And she's like, oh, I didn't understand. And he's like, well, there's a lot of things you don't understand. And then she's like, I'm sorry. And then he's like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll explain everything to you later. Gives her a kiss, and then he runs out of the door. Now, your boy Reek is on the phone, and he's calling McClane to go down there and help clean things up. Zeke is still in there, boy. They have him in there for hours. It's like a day now. And Zeke is like, listen, check my wallet. I got a PBA. And it's the biggest mistake, unconscious mistake that Zeke can make. And it's Detective Ramirez's PBA card. He's like, how do you know him? He's like, yeah, he met me at a game. He said, if I need anything, just use this card if I'm in a jam. Monet walks in the police office. Man, she's on fire. Auntie Monet is like, listen, where's my nephew? Where's my nephew? Get out of my way. They're trying to stop her. And he's still pressing. Detective Whitman is still pressing him to get him to confess. And he's like, really, how do you know Ramirez? And thank God, Monet comes in the door to rescue your boy Zeke because he was about to crack. And he's like, who are you? And she's like, you better watch your mouth. Watch who you talking to. And she's like, yeah, is he having charges? Is there charges against him? He's like, no, he's voluntarily, here. And she's like, well, he's voluntarily leaving right now. So McClane comes up. He introduces himself to Monet. That's right. Mary and Meth finally in a scene together. And they're like, listen, we don't need you. He's like, wait, I just came through a gauntlet of the press. Listen, if you go out that way, they're going to eat you up. I'll go handle the press. You guys go out the back. So Whitman is still trying to talk to Monet. She's like, listen, if you want to keep your badge, shut up, right? Don't talk to me. So, of course, McClane, he's outside. He's definitely letting them know, listen, Zeke voluntarily, was there to help the cops, and he's a good citizen, and everything is all good. There's no charges against him at all, right? So Monet, she's driving. She pulls to the side, and she's like, listen, what happened? What did you tell them? And Zeke is like, I didn't tell him anything. I've been trying to call you. I've been trying to reach you. And she's, pressing him to find out exactly what he said. And he didn't say anything. Definitely salute to Zeke because he didn't say anything. But what happened was the biggest mistake, the unconscious mistake, was that he gave him the PBA card with Ramirez's detective PBA card. So, of course, Monet is upset. And he's like, why? Why? That's what you told me to do. And she's like, listen, I'm sorry. He's like, did something happen to Ramirez? And she's like, I'm sorry. I should have took that card from you. I'm sorry, baby. It's my bad, my fault. And he's like, oh, my God. Like Zeke is bugging out because now, again, he doesn't know what's going on. And he's like, listen, you're supposed to be out for my best interest, but you don't tell me what's going on. Now, they really going to try to press charges against me because, something happened to Ramirez. And she's like, listen, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. I promise I'm going to take care of it. Like, he could be in big trouble. So now we on the block with Kane and your boy Braden. And, they're talking. And your boy Kane is like, oh, your boss told you to come down here, right? And Braden's like, it's not. Tariq is not my boss. Like, we 50-50 partners. He's like, yeah, all right, whatever. If you really want to make some money, then come with me. He's like, yeah, we need like $8,000. We need like 8 G's. Like, Kane is like, yo, that's nothing. Come with me on the street. We do some street business and we can handle this. And he's like, yeah, but Tariq. And he's like, see, your boss. So he's telling him, hey, listen, come in the car with me. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go in the car with you so we can make some money. He gets a message from Monet to come 911, meet now, right? Kane does. And he's like, listen, I got to go. Get out the car. And Braden's like, listen, man, you just told me to get in. He's like, listen, get out the car. Give me the money. I'll flip it for you. And then I'll let you know. So Braden's like, all right, listen, I need it by 10 a.m., no later than that. Don't screw me on this. Right? So, of course, Kane is like, man, whatever. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just give me the address, give me the Addy, and I'll meet you at the spot, and then I'll bring you the money that I get after I flip it. So now at the house, Monet is talking to the family, talking to Kane, Drew, and Diana, and she tells them what happened, how, Zeke gave up Ramirez's card, and Ramirez, they know, has been murdered by Kane. They know that. And, he's like, yeah, I'm going to fix this. Kane's like, I'm going to fix this. And Monet's like, nah, man, nah. All you do is mess up this family. It was his fault, really, why the whole Ramirez thing is connected to Zeke and all this and that, because he murdered Ramirez, right? So Kane is like, oh, y'all so smart. Why don't you take the card away from Zeke? And, Diana's like, yo, if you didn't murder the dude, we wouldn't have to do all this and that. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, she's like not really feeling Kane. That's why she went up and spoke to Lorenzo, her pops, about, why is he back in the picture? So Drew is just like, yo, I knew something was wrong, when he missed practice. And Diana's like, wait, I left after that. And she's like, yeah, where's Monet? And he's like, I don't know. Monet left right after you. Where could Monet have been? She was with your boy Mecca, right? They don't know that yet, but we're going to find out. So now your boy Reek is messaging, Rashad Tate. He opens up the door and blow, your boy Kane punches Tariq in the grill. And Tariq is like, yo, what the heck, man? What's going on? And Kane is just like, yo, that's your plan? That's your plan to connect everything and have Zeke take the fall? That's not a good plan at all. You're not going to get my cousin all wrapped up in this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And then he tells him like, yo, he was in lockup. He was in the precinct. And he's like, yeah, I sent McClain to go down and clean that up. He's like, yeah, but he gave, the detective Ramirez's PBA card. And Reek is like, why would he do that? He's like, he didn't know that I murdered Ramirez and all that, right? And Tariq is like, listen, but we ain't going to find the body, right? You put the body where? He's like, yeah. He's like, yo, don't worry about it. David's going to take care of it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And of course, Kane is like, yo, you can't trust nobody. You know what I'm saying? Basically, we're all at risk, especially you right now, especially you, all right? So now somebody's looking at Lorenzo Tejada's rap sheet. And who is it? It's McClain, and he's sitting down talking to Diana. So Tariq got that meeting for Diana to go see McClain. And she is trying to really get him out. And, McClain is like, listen, this is a high-profile case. We don't know if we could really do it, but we could definitely look into it. But it may be a dead case. And your boy Sachs comes out. He's like, yeah, this is not a good case. We're not going to be able to do anything with this. And she's like, are you sure? Are you really sure? McClain looks at him like, man, are you crazy? Like, be quiet. So McClain's like, listen, we'll do our due diligence and we'll look into it. And we'll definitely let you and your mother know, what we find out. And Diana's like, nah, don't tell my mother. Just talk to me. Thank you very much. She walks out. So McClain is just, talking to Sachs. And Sachs is like, yo, this is a dead case. This is, we're dead either way. And da-da-da. And, McClain's like, listen, don't be letting checks walk out the door. Remember why you're here. Remember who you serve. Basically, like, I'm the boss. We got to get this money, right? So Tariq is like, yo, B, where you at? Talking to Braden, because he's supposed to be at the office to sign these papers. Braden is waiting for Kane to bring that money back, right? He gave him some money, and Kane told him that he's going to flip it on the street. So he rolls up with a lady in the car with a couple of young ladies. And Brady's like, oh, man, he's impressed. And, Kane is just like, yeah, I had to pick up a couple things. So he gives him the bag, and it's more than enough money. And Braden's just like, man, the streets is where it's at. So he's like, yo, come with us, And he's like, nah, I got to meet up with Tariq. And he gives the girl money and says, hey, buy yourself something. I'm in love. And this and that. And Kane makes a joke like, I'm in love. I'm Braden. Now we got Sachs and Jenny Sullivan. They just got finished getting busy. And, she's like, yo, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, McClain's mad at me because, I pretty much declined, a case. And she's like, what case? She's like, oh, Lorenzo Tejada. She's like, oh, I'm familiar with that case, the drug lord and all this and that. And she was like, yeah, that lawyer was on it that was tampering with evidence and using the drugs that they found on the drug dealers. And he's like, really? So Sachs is like, okay. So he gets up and he's texting McClain like, yo, I believe we can get Lorenzo Tejada out. Because he's going to use this, the fact that that lawyer really was tampering with evidence and everything to twist everything to get Lorenzo out. Wow. So now at the office, Braden finally shows up. Tariq is like, yo, man, what's going on? He's like, yeah, my bad. I had to wait for some things, but I got the money up. Here's the money. Here's the $30K that you needed for that LLC and to get this thing going so you can get a paycheck and make it look like you have a job. So this will be good for Yasmin so you can get Yasmin back, right? So Braden's just like, hey, listen, I know you was talking about not diversified and not working on the street. And Tariq basically screams on us like, yo, man, I told you stop messing with Kane, man. Stop messing with Kane. We're just going to do this and that, and that's it, right? So Bash comes in there. He's like, you're interrupting my massage. And he's like, okay, Mr. Weston, are you ready to sign and become the president of this LLC? So now Braden's going to become the president of this LLC. It's a ghost LLC. And this is just to get a paycheck for Tariq so he can get Yasmin back. But again, how's he going to trust Braden? Because Braden's been talking about working with Kane and working with the streets. So we're going to see what happens in the next episode of Power Book 2 Ghosts Season 2 on Stars. Family, definitely a crazy episode. But again, things are heating up. Is Lorenzo really going to get out? Man, it's about to heat up. Your boy Mecca, Dante, and Monet, yeah, they're getting it on. So definitely I appreciate all of you for listening and watching. Absolutely. Let's continue to keep this thing going. I appreciate you all. And you know what it is. It's your man, VACAY-JAY. Until next time, salute.